Hello everybody, hello, it's Jackie here from St. Leonard's Reiki, and I come to you today talking to you about the throat chakra. And the reason I'm talking to you about the throat chakra is it's a personal thing of mine, and I want to share with you because I think if I can help you with what I've been going through, then there must be many of you with the same problem, and I want to help as many people as I can. So I was diagnosed with an underactive thyroid. I don't actually know, about 20 years ago now. And I think it had always been a problem for me. I always seemed to have low energy, but it manifested into me becoming quite poorly. And it happened when I had my children because I think that's quite a common story for women. There's a lot of pressure put on the body and the thyroid goes, ah. Anyway, for me, my story is my Reiki has always supplemented my energy. So I've had the tablets, I've been on the thyroxine. Back in those days, didn't know any other way. I think nowadays to deal with things more naturally is more common knowledge. But back then I was terrified and I was just given tablets and I was told it was tablets for life. I've been slowly coming off of the medication and my medication was lowering, and I have been supporting myself through Reiki and believing that I lived a completely normal life with no symptoms because of the Reiki and because I was on this very low dose of thyroxine. But just recently, the last year or so, I decided to ditch the tablets basically, and I did so very carefully. So if you're out there thinking, yes, I'm going to do what Jackie does, please, I don't want you to just throw the tablets away because that could be very, very serious. Please don't do that. I did it very, very carefully, and I replaced the tablets with supplements, but natural. So yeah, I was watching what selenium levels I was having and all sorts of things, but really it's a very personal story. So what worked for me and what I was doing is going to be different for everybody. But just the reason I'm bringing this up is because I totally believe that we have these magnificent bodies that are not designed to be ill. Our cells can replicate. It's been scientifically proven that our bodies are always trying to maintain balance and find equilibrium. And that really is the premise behind what I teach with Reiki and what I practice with EFT. So I have been using EFT, positivity, Ho'oponopono, obviously self-Reiki, buckets of self-Reiki, my spiritual personal beliefs, and it's been full time. For the last year and a half, it's been my aim to get myself well and not slipping so that I have to resort to go back to the tablets and not have a crisis. And I'm doing it, and I'm doing it without any problems, and I feel great, and I'm not on any medication. And it's really remarkable to me because I could have been on medication for life. I was just popping these pills every morning, and it's terrifying. You know, what were the side effects? How long can you take pills without there being side effects? It terrified me. So I want to share with you about all I've learned about the throat, because it's so common for especially women to have this throat chakra out of balance. And I'm noticing it now more than ever, because I think the way things are in the world at the moment, it's all a little bit more unbalanced than it's ever been. And so generally, the world seems more unbalanced, and we are feeling more unbalanced, and we're having an effect on the world, and the world's having an effect on us and the weather. So I'm coming here just to talk to you about the throat, or to share with you about the throat. And I think I'm going to talk to you about the throat today, and then in the next video I'm going to do some practicing with you, a meditation with you, and just start sharing with you what I've been doing to help you. So I hope you find it useful and interesting. I'm going to have to put my glasses on so that I can read my notes, because I've done quite a few notes here, and I know that I'm going to get some reflection from the light, so apologies there. So the throat chakra, it's a very common problem for the feminine energy. Now, I know that there's probably lots of men out there that have the same sort of symptoms, and they're going to relate to it, but it is definitely more that feminine energy that I'm talking about, which is present in both men and women. It's just that part of us that is that softer feminine energy. And by that, I think I'm talking about the people-pleasing element. So yeah, I would say I've always been a people pleaser. I know that quite a lot of people that I teach Reiki, they put their hands up and say, yep, that's me, I'm a people pleaser. It's just ingrained in us, you know, you either are or you aren't. And if that is something that is in your energy, you're going to know it, you're going to know it. If it doesn't resonate with you, then don't worry about it. So often it affects, the throat is affected, if that feminine energy, that softer energy, that sort of more maternal, that loving, that caring, that place of wanting to give to others always, and put ourselves at the bottom of the pile. Oh yes, you know, don't worry about me, you know, I'm fine. Oh yes, you know, don't worry about me, you have that, I'm not even hungry, you know. It's all of that, not wanting to be a bother, not saying, not speaking, not even wanting to be a, you know, take up any space in the room. But the trouble is, it's all very well and good, you know, being like that. How lovely. And people probably think, wow, they must be very evolved. They must be so evolved to be like this, to be able to act like this, and not to be, you know, feeling put upon. And yes, some of us have got to a level where our vibration is so that we can cope with not being so bogged down by the petty things in life. That is definitely the aim. But if you then become resentful, you know, and your energy is constantly drained because of your actions, of constantly putting yourself at the bottom of the heap, at the bottom of the pile, and nobody noticing you, and you lacking in energy, and you giving of yourself all the time, then your energy gets pushed down. Yeah, and we talk about this all the time when we learn Reiki, how it gets stuffed down. And when this happens, what happens to the throat? Well, the throat begins to close. It's almost as though the throat is like a clock, and the throat begins to close. And it begins to close, and it literally closes down. It starts ticking and ticking and ticking and closing down. You know, and if you go throughout life like this, then this throat is going to literally become a plug and be plugged up and get bunged up. And no amount of Reiki, no amount of tapping, EFT, no amount of positivity is going to really make that throat pop out and remain open. So that's why I'm talking to you now about this throat chakra, because for many people, you're going to have been practicing Reiki, you're going to have been doing all sorts of things, and you're not getting anywhere. And I talked about the ears recently, and you know this is all linked. We're in the same area, aren't we here? So we do need to be aware that this chakra does affect so many vital aspects of ourselves. So this happens when you're not speaking your truth. This happens when you are not being authentic. Yeah, with yourself, with your words. So that's number one. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The other problem is when you want to speak your truth, you think you're speaking your truth, but you're not even aware that you're not doing it. You're so unconscious because you've been programmed, because when you're born, in order to navigate this human existence, literally, when you come to this earth and you choose and you queue up and you get a place, a seat on this magnificent ride of life, that a cord is severed. Literally, a cord is severed between you, that highest part of you that knows everything, there is to know, that has lived all these eons, your soul. A cord is severed to your chakras, and you have hundreds of chakras within your body. These just energy centers all over your body. And we just really speak about 7 of them, the 7 main ones. But this cord is severed, and it's severed for a reason. It's not we're not here. It's not like people sort of say it's a school and we have to learn all this, liken Earth to a school where we are here just to remember who we are, and we choose to do so for the joy of doing so, and for the joy of learning who we are all over again. And so we kind of lose that higher aspect of ourself. And so in doing so, we lose sight of what our authentic truth is. And when this happens, you're not really, you get shut down. You're not really in complete and full communication with yourself, your real self. So you're born into a body, you're born into a family, you're born into a community, into a group, into a country, into an environment, and you become what you learn from your surroundings, from your environment. And so you lose sense of your authentic self. You lose sense of your own vibration. And we drop into the matrix of programming that has been decided upon by the collective. And so it is a case of constantly coming back to self. It is a case of constantly coming back to the body, coming back to our soul, coming back to the heart, to try and get to that place of remembering, throwing the layers off and finding that light and trying to tune into that higher consciousness that is us, that is our vibration. And we know when we find that because it feels so damn good. We know when it's not ours because it feels so horrible. It feels so, not us. So it's constantly noticing your emotions. It's constantly questioning. So there is a forgetting when you come here, when you're born. And it's really important that you start to question yourself. And you only know who you really are by your reactions to situations. So I want you to start noticing your reactions. And it really is taking a step back from yourself. So it's often a case that we resort to people pleasing. You know, we say, oh, it's all water off of a duck's back. It's okay. Don't worry about me. It's no big deal. There's bigger things to worry about. And like I said, it may appear that by acting like that, wow, you know, nothing affects her, nothing rocks her boat. But if you're not really aware that you are just stuffing it down, you're just getting that clock, that bung, stored up for a problem later down the line. You need to make sure that your vibration is true and you are constantly aligned, and you are more evolved to be able to cope with the petty things and they aren't bothering you. And oh, my phone. I need to turn my phone off. Sorry. Very unprofessional. Here we go. So by being the people pleaser, you are unconsciously closing down your throat chakra because you're not really speaking your authentic truth. So that's number one. And you probably think it's dangerous. You probably think it's dangerous to speak your truth because you might offend people. You might say something that might rock the boat. You might have to lose a friend. You might wound someone. You might hurt someone. So it is dangerous to speak your truth, and I completely understand this. But we have to come back to that understanding of the power of the word, the power of emotions, and the power of thought. And until you can step into your mastery, you know, in being completely evolved and being completely aligned with yourself, so that none of this pettiness does affect you or does get pushed down and affect that plug, then you have to be looking at your words and your thoughts and your emotions all the time. And it might be that you push things down so much so that you have what we term as a dark night of the soul. You know, often people get to a point where they literally don't question themselves. They are just people pleasers for such a length of time that it actually ends up being a problem. And I think this is what happens with the thyroid, you know, and for me, I think it certainly happened. And I was pushing stuff down, and it wasn't until I became a mother myself and there was so much pressure on my body that my body went, ah. And then it becomes a disease. And for me, I had to have tablets, like so many of us. When the thyroid goes, we just end up given tablets for life. But for many of us, it is a spiritual awakening where we decide, wow, in this moment, I need to work out what's going on. What's going on? I can't live like this because now I have a real physical disease. And I think it's of my making, which is really scary. And sometimes it results in death. you know, and that's terrible. And you know, some people just don't ever get to the point of understanding what's going on, and aren't ever able to process what's going on, or ever get to the point of feeling as though they want to take it upon their shoulders to understand what's going on. And that's no slight on anybody. But if you are in a place of wanting to take responsibility of your health and not hand it over to the medics that are giving you the tablets, then I want to share with you how you can become a master of your own voice. Okay. So one of my tricks is to always keep your throat warm, always look after your throat. And by warm, I mean when it's a cold day, or when you're doing lots of talking, or when maybe your glands are up, or you're giving so much that you know you need to look after yourself. You practice Reiki with your hands, you use something like a silk scarf, you practice self-love. You practice self-love. You do the things that you need to do. You get plenty of sleep. You eat plenty of nice, wholesome, healthy food. You know where the foods come from. It's nutritional, homely food that you can tell where it's from because it's not too changed. You have plenty of drinks, lovely, lovely warm drinks, and they're again, as simple as you know what's in them, and you use Reiki or positive thinking or prayer whenever you're eating or drinking. So you spend a thought directed towards whatever it is you've got in your hand before you drink, before you eat. So you give thanks for what it is you're putting in your mouth, and you respect what you're putting in your body. So we need to be constantly thinking about unblocking that plug, unblocking the thyroid that's got blocked up with all the gunk. And by that, we're bringing conscious awareness to everything. So we've talked about people pleasing. We've talked about being more conscious about being a people pleaser. Let's talk about the power of the word. So the master of your voice means having a clear understanding of word. It's so sacred, the word, the thought, the emotion, but the words that come out of our mouth. Because we can command, and we can create instantaneous healing from our words. We can connect with people. We can create abundance. We can create change. We can create healing with our words. The power of the word is used fairly recklessly in our society. And really, we're talking about listening as well, because I think it does affect the ears as well. You know, as I said, quite often we're not really listening to what the other person is saying, because whilst the other person is talking, rather than listening, we're actually just thinking what we want to say in response to what they're saying. So we need to sit back and we need to really learn to listen to other people. And listen to what they're saying and really hear them, not hear what we think they're going to say, you know, and presume what they're going to say. Because it might be that we have built up a relationship with somebody and we've got so used to this relationship that we just kind of expect that they're going to say a certain thing, and we're not really hearing them. Not really, because we're too close. So really, you know, almost take a step back Take a step back from yourself in noticing what you're saying, and take a step back from yourself in noticing how you're listening to others. Because yes, the word, when valued, is so creative. It's so commanding in conveying and connecting with others. And the word is a beautiful thing. You know, we write lyrics and poetry and tell stories, and we can express emotion and evoke emotion. We can release pent-up emotion that needs releasing. You know, we're talking about suppressing things and pushing them down. Well, we can do that for a certain amount of time, as long as we do release. And how does the body communicate? How does the body express itself? It does it through here. It does it through the mouth. This is the only way we can express ourselves to other people. Apart from creativity with our body, apart from, you know, intimacy, sexual expression, and that is another beautiful way of connecting with others. But we're talking about the spoken word here. So it's one of the most powerful tools we have. And I think that has got lost. I think that it, probably through social media, technology, you know, phones, we're all on our phones, aren't we? I think the power of the word has got lost. So we've become unconscious of what we do, what we say, how we listen, and how we command and demand things. Because commanding and demanding are vital to our survival and our needs and expression. But we tend to think of commanding and demanding as quite negative things, you know, that we can't do. But it's very important that we command and demand what we need, so that we can be our true, authentic self and in alignment. Because the trouble is, an effect of not speaking your truth is when you almost become like a victim. You almost hope someone won't do something for you, because then they don't do something for you, and then you can blame that other person, and you can feel sorry for yourself, and you can feel like the victim or feel like the martyr, and then we can feel sorry for ourselves, and we can see that this is so, and again, that's an effect of not speaking our truth, because we haven't effectively communicated what it is we want. Quite often we effectively communicate by silence, otherwise known as sulking, which is the opposite of the spoken word, and is another way of just stuffing it down and causing terrible emotion to just be felt and stored, and until then there is this dis-ease in the body, then becomes a disease. So the word is a beautiful, magnificent thing. It's a very powerful tool, and we really, really need to take ownership of it. What else do I want to say? I just want to talk about the coming back to the master of your voice. I've spoken to you before about this. Is saying after you have spoken the line, "and it is so," which is a very simple thing to do. It's not easy to do, but whenever you said anything, to just step back and just literally say in your head, "and it is so," and notice your speech by doing that for a few days, for a day, for a few hours. It's not easy. I often give this as homework to people that I'm working with. So go about your day tomorrow and say to yourself, okay, after everything I say out loud, I'm going to, in my head, think the words, and it is so. Because when we've thought something, felt something, and then expressed something through our words, that is, without realizing it, a command to the universe, a command and a demand. So much so that it is so. And literally, you will have that reflected back to you. And if you're unconsciously aware of what you are saying all the time and spouting, and what you are saying all the time is not particularly a great vibration, maybe there's lies, maybe there's untruths, maybe it's detrimental to yourself what you're saying, maybe it's not, you're not speaking in a very loving way, you're not speaking your truth. Maybe we should really watch what we're saying for a while and come to that place of listening more and stepping back and maybe being more of a listener for a while. So it's almost like this seal that is placed on our chakras at birth needs to be peeled away as we recognize and remember who we are. And I think that's what we're doing in life. Yeah, we have that severing at birth of that, the chakras are severed to our highest self that knows everything. And it's almost like a seal is placed over our chakras. And if we act in accordance and in balance and in harmony with ourselves, then we are spinning and perfectly in balance with the world around us and with ourselves and with the energy that we're vibrating. But if not, it shuts down, like I was talking, you know, like a clock over time. And it's almost like a mucus plug, literally plugs it shut. And over years, it accumulates all this gloop. Every time you don't speak your truth, every time you criticize or you say a harsh word about yourself, you put yourself down, you know, you're a people pleaser. Oh, don't worry about me. That gloop, it grows and grows and grows. So we need to bring a sacredness to our word. We need to bring more truth to our words. We need to consciously be looking at our words. We need to be remembering who we really are, what vibration we are, and we do that by questioning everything. Questioning everything, even the simple things. Just look at everything that you do. Well, why did I just say that? Why do I do that? Well, just because I've always done it. But why? Why do I always do that? Well, because my parents did that. All my friends do that. That's what everyone does at work. But why? Yeah, that's what I want you to do. I want you to start questioning everything. And then remember the "and so it is." So you can say things like, "Oh, I'm so tired." And then in your head say, "and so it is." And that's fine. It's fine to make a declaration of your feelings and that you say and how you feel. But just notice what you say on a regular basis, because it might be very interesting and revealing. And you might want to do some journaling around it. So I think that's all I want to say. That's quite enough. for this video. I just wanted to share all of that with you so that I could get you starting to think, because I want you to understand those aspects before I start sharing with you some meditations in how to clear and work with the throat chakra to clear it. And we'll practice a beautiful Reiki meditation in the next video to help us work through opening the chakra up for you, if that's something you'd like to do with me. All right, so I will leave you for now, and continue to have the rest of a good day. Be true, watch your words, sit back and listen to others, but more importantly, listen to what you're saying. Really listen, and question everything. All right, love to you. Take care, and I'll see you really, really soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye.